Hey. Could you hear that music playing?
Yeah, it gave me the option to unmute it, so I was able to hear it.
Oh, you heard it. What do you
hmm
think about my theme song?
I love it.
I mean, you're like you're in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Does that have like Texas country vibes?
Yeah, a
Hell yeah.
bit. It
Yeah, that's right.
sounded maybe a bit more hillbilly to me,
So
but yeah.
I tried to culturally appropriate white hillbilly
Oh
culture.
my goodness.
Because white people are always culturally appropriating Mexican culture with their Taco Tuesdays and then their Cinco de Mayo. So I said, you know what? I gotta borrow
Apparently,
something. I gotta borrow something from them too. So how are you doing?
I'm all right.
I
I'm all
like your
right.
I like your outfit. You got a nice vibe going on today.
Yeah, I'm feeling super homely right now. I was ready for the day earlier, and I was just like, yeah, screw it, taking off the makeup, whatever.
Yeah. So this is your natural look.
This is me.
I love women that don't wear a ton of makeup
Mm-hmm.
and then still look beautiful. You know, I think we
Yeah.
live in this culture now where women just wear way too much makeup all the time, uh,
Yeah.
and they're always trying to show off, and
Yeah.
you never know what they look like. You know,
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, even when I do wear makeup, I don't wear like foundation. I don't even wear foundation.
no
Like I just
foundation.
yeah, foundation. Like it's I've seen girls who wear makeup where it's like
Mm.
they put on a layer of cement. Like if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
pretty sure if you ran your nail across your forehead, you'd get a bunch underneath your nail.
yeah.
So
I
I've
I can
never
I can
liked that. So
I can open up some TikTok accounts right now, and the girls look exactly like you're talking about. But I don't want to shame anybody right now. This stream is not about shaming people. So the name of my show that we have right now is called Candid AF, and it stands for Adam Francisco, not as F. And yeah, I mean, we're just talking about anything we want. There's no
hmm
topic off limits as far as I'm concerned.
hmm
Um, but just to do a brief intro, I met Raya on TikTok, everybody. She's a big TikToker. She's got 25,000 TikTok subs. So let me
I'm
pull up.
very shadow banned right now, but yes, that's how you know you're
Yeah,
saying the right stuff.
you are shadow banned to all hell.
Yeah.
What do you think you posted that got you shadow banned?
I think it was a video. When I first noticed it was really bad was when I posted a video of me worshiping God, just a Christian song. I was going through a rough time, and I was on the bathroom floor, and I was just singing. You couldn't hear me sing. All you could hear was a song, and I was just singing along to just worshiping God, just trying to stay calm, and just like trying to bring. I'm very into the nitty gritty. I do not sugarcoat things. And so I was being honest, like, yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression. It sucks. And just like trying to not only help myself, but help anybody else out there who needs some hope or positivity in their life. Because there's a lot of
Hmm,
negativity out there nowadays. I mean, it's all very real, but there's a lot of negativity out there these days. So I was trying to just be a
absolutely.
light, and I got shadow banned.
So you got shadow banned talking about God.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm a big believer right now that our elite leaders, our oligarchs, are very anti-God and
Definitely.
anti-religion. And I think the reason why they want to do that is because when you think of communism or globalism, they want to replace God with the government. Kind of like
Mm.
if you think about North Korea, like they look at their leader as like gods almost.
Yeah, literally, like he can do no wrong.
Can do no wrong. And when Kim Jong Il died, the videos that came out of North Korea were definitely a different reaction to how it would happen here in the U.S. if a loved politician would die. I
Yeah,
don't know if you've ever seen those videos of people like on their knees praying and crying hysterically. Um, but I think that that's what we're kind of headed towards here in the U.S. How do you feel
yeah,
about that?
definitely.
Um, I'm actually trying to pull in your TikTok for everybody to see. Hold on, wait for it. There we go. Boom, got it. All right. So this is Riot Noelle, guys, on TikTok. She's got 25.9 thousand followers, which is pretty awesome amount of followers to have. You'd be considered a TikTok superstar, by the way.
Oh, cool. Hey, I
Yeah,
made it. No, I'm joking.
you made it. That's right. But your shadow ban is insane.
Yeah, like look, like I'm in double digits, like low double
That's
digits in some of those.
This is unheard of. I mean, like 20, 46 views, 79 views. You got a 46 here.
Yeah,
when
On
you
a
put
couple of them, I
the
got
picture
like
of the video of Joe
200,
Biden.
and like it would go from like, I don't know, 27 to 200 something. I'm like, okay, wait, what? Like it's so confusing because the thing is also if you scroll all the way back, I was in like the thousands for views and likes and comments. Like
And
all the way
normally
back.
you should be growing over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally the way these platforms work is over time you should be getting bigger and bigger. It's like a snowball.
Yeah.
And it seems like for you, they just said no more. You're done.
Yeah, and the thing is,
Yeah,
like,
even here,
people
look
have
at this.
tried to
You're already
report my videos so many times for talking about the truth. Some of them I wasn't even talking to me, and I was just like, "Hey, this is what's going on." And like, I remember there was one video I made where it was saying we're fighting as conservatives are fighting for freedom, as in freedom, as in you can choose whether to get the jab or to not, whether to wear a mask or to
Yep.
not. But we should have the choice. It should not be a mandate. It should not be forced on us. And that video got reported twice. And I
Yeah, they're
appealed it
very
twice, which was crazy
that's
because I'm like, I already won the appeal once, so I have to win it again. But I did.
Yeah, they're very sensitive when it comes to the vaccine stuff. You got to be very careful,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to make it very clear that you're speaking against the mandates as opposed to against the vaccine.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
I've
Like
heard.
I've said multiple times, Daniel and I, my fiance and I, are not anti-vax at all. However, our kids will not be getting in all of the vaccines. Like
Do
we'll
you
be
have
picking
kids?
and choosing which ones I get.
Do you have kids yet?
Not yet, no.
But you guys are already talking about that, huh?
Oh, of course, we're getting married soon anyway.
How old? Can I ask how old you are? I know you're
I
not
am
supposed to ask a
23.
lady how old they are, but you can only ask when it doesn't seem like it'll be offensive because you look very young.
Yeah, no, I'm 23.
Wow, you're so young. My goodness. So I have this other podcast I do I guess a live stream where it's called Cupid AF, and it's usually where I interview beautiful patriots that are single. And the reason why you're not invited on that show is because you're not single. You are engaged. So unfortunately I
Barely
can't put
meant
you
taken.
yeah, I can't put you on Cupid. I apologize for that. I do have a
I'm fine
background
with
for
that. It's
that
okay.
episode. Check out the background. Hold on. So there's my logo in the background for the Cupid show. It's a little Cupid holding two AK-47s with a MAGA hat. So it's like a badass Cupid.
I love it. That's the
Yeah,
best Cupid ever. My
isn't that
goodness.
cute? I'm trying to make sure I can't see it though. But anyway, he's there.
Yeah. I
But
can see at the tops of the guns. That's
yeah.
hilarious. I love that.
But this is not Cupid, guys. This is just Candid AF. So
Yeah.
your TikTok.
Cupid.
Yeah, your TikTok is definitely been shadow banned. You're targeted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I have a backup too, and both of them are terribly shadow banned. Like bad. Like one of the
Maybe
videos I think has like maybe 6 likes. It's bad.
this one has 9,000 views right here. Maybe you should stop talking about God and religion. Maybe you should just like start showing your boobs and saying you're transgender. And then you'd be allowed to have your content on TikTok and you'd probably put to the front page.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. And the thing is, that's why I know I'm doing the right thing is because they hate me. They don't want people to see me because I'm doing the right thing.
They allow breasts on TikTok if you identify as transgender. So it goes both ways. So for example, if you were born a female, but you get your breasts removed, you can show them off because now you identify as a trans man, right?
It's so off though.
If you are born a man and you transition to a woman and you get implants, you can also show off your breasts because you're a trans woman. So it works in both directions, which I think is crazy.
It's really weird. And then you get like those people who say like they identify as like they them, but they got a sex change or gender change, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to say make YouTube mad. I don't know how it works. But they do that. I'm like, how you don't believe there are 2 different genders, but you get a gender change? What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, make it make sense, please.
I'll never understand the plural thing that they like. I'll never get that. Like it just doesn't. I get. I know how to use it, but it doesn't compute in my head. Like, why are you going with the plural?
Exactly. I'm like, you are one person. Like, unless you're pregnant, you can't say that.
Exactly. Just imagine if there was like 25 of us in a room and we referred to ourselves as I or me. It doesn't make any sense. It's the same concept.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Quick side note, Epic Paul, I would love to be on your podcast. So definitely shoot me a message on Instagram, Adam Francisco or Be Free My Sheeple. And also, I'm sure Raya at some point maybe would be interested as well as being on your podcast. So potentially 2 guests on this show are going to be on the Epic Paul podcast in the future. We'll see. So tell me about yourself. Like you're obviously a patriot.
Oh,
you,
yes.
you don't like Joe Biden. I saw that you had a mug, a water bottle that has the FJB or Let's Go Brandon on it.
I have. So it's like a Hydro Flask, but it's a bracelet that my fiance got from the Hodge Twins site. And we got like a bunch of those to give to family and friends and everything. But I put it on my water bottle because I don't like wearing bracelets. So yeah, awesome. I have that, and I definitely stand by that.
That's awesome. Hey, we have Devon McKinsey in the room. He's one of my most loyal followers here.
That's awesome.
He's been an OG, so he's in the room right now.
Hey man, welcome on.
So I want to dig in a little bit to your politics, because it's always fun talking about that stuff. So are you a 2-time Trump voter, 1-time Trump voter? What's your situation?
So the first time Trump ran, I was 17. I couldn't vote yet.
Oh, 2016, you were 17.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And then I wasn't registered in time to vote for him, but like everybody around me was like asking me what I thought, because everybody else was very, very like staying away from the news because they were afraid, gave them a lot of anxiety and whatnot. So they're all asking me like, Trump, 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 vote for me. I can't vote, Trump. So I was constantly like, vote for Trump. Like, if you don't believe me, that's fine. Do your own research and will point to Trump unless you look at CNN or any other bullcrap news, whatever. So right. Trump. And so I wasn't able to vote either times. And so like next time, so 2024, I will be voting Trump as long as he's running. Thank God.
Did you register already? Are you registered now?
I am not right now because I moved states. So
where'd you move from?
I'm sorry?
Where'd you move from?
Virginia.
Oh, so what made you go from Virginia to Texas? Because I heard Virginia is pretty based.
Yeah, well, so Virginia, a lot went down for me in Virginia. I went through a lot of traumatic stuff. A lot of people left me. But I look back on it now and I see it's all like God's doing, because if I still had in my life, I would not have grown to the person that I am now. So right. I'm okay with it. But yeah, no, I moved from Virginia to Texas. Originally, I was going to come anyway because a family friend of mine is older and I don't know how much longer she has. And she's kind of like a grandmother to me. And she lives in San Antonio. So I was planning on moving here anyway eventually, but ended up being, sped up a bit because Danielle lives here and we were not wanting a long distance. So
you were doing the long distance for a little bit.
Yes, we were not officially dating yet. Our whole story is unlike any I've ever heard. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are crazier out there, but I've never heard any like our story, because we were not even dating yet until I got here because of like a promise I kind of made to God after my last relationship. So I made a promise to God, like, I'm not going to date anybody for 6 months. And I want to just focus on him. And I know, like, this is not like a religious thing here, but
yeah, hey, this is Candid AF. We can talk about anything you got, anything you want.
Gotcha. Awesome. But yeah, so I decided, I'm like, I want to focus on God. I want to better my relationship with the Lord. I want to get my faith stronger because I know I need it. At the time, I was living with a very narcissistic roommate. And I know people misuse that term a lot. I am not.
Were you dating him or not?
No, not dating him at all.
Okay.
This dude literally went as far as faking an attempted suicide to get my attention.
Did he like you? Was it like an attraction?
He told, like, I found out after I'd already moved in that he liked me.
Yeah.
And then later on he lied and told me he didn't like me anymore, but he actually did. It was a whole mess. So left that real fast. And yeah, the entire time I was living with him, I knew like I could not date anybody. I didn't like him anyway. He's not my type. But it was a whole mess and it was a lot of trauma. So
what is your type?
So it depends. I have a couple several different types. I do not go for any like skater, boy looking people or like, surfer guys or anything. My type is more like either like buff like Latino or like
Wait, you mean like the guy you're talking to right now?
that's cute.
I'm Latino and I'm buff. I think I'm buff, kind of buff. That's why I'm
That's
saying
why I said okay, yeah, sure.
I
Whatever.
fit that subset. I'm just saying. I'm just making an observation. Continue.
Oh, it's all good. I'm faking on you. But yeah, no, like buff Latino or literally, he is the best of both worlds I could have ever asked for because I've always told myself I'd never marry an Asian because Asians and I don't click typically because their mentality just does not go with me. Like at one point, my mother and my grandpa wanted me to marry a Korean man from South Korea. No. No, because I struggle with mental health and they don't believe in mental health. It's not a thing in Korea. They are not open-minded in that way at all. I would not survive. I need someone I can talk to about this and definitely both worlds because he's literally his dad is black, Portuguese, Native American, his mother is Korean. So he's literally the best of everything, like all my types in one person. So
I know, like in some Asian cultures, suicide rates are very high because mental health is just not. It's not.
Skater boy scratched up. I'm sorry. I'm not at the.
Yeah, I pull the comments in that are good during the chat. But like I think places like Japan have high suicide rates because mental health
Definitely.
is kind of like brushed aside, and from my understanding, people aren't as expressive with their feelings or mental health. So
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
And so, like, I'm not close at all with my mother's family. In fact, my mother's no longer in my life because of a lot of trauma on her end as well that she put me through. But I'm like the black sheep of their side of the family because I'm so open with my faith and because in their mind, their elders are like God. Their elders are like what they say goes. If they're wrong, they're not. If they're wrong, but don't tell them they're wrong. Do not correct them. And I've corrected my grandfather in front of the family before. Like he told me,
And he's Korean.
I'm sorry?
He's Korean.
Yes. My mother is 100%, well, she's a bunch of other stuff ethnicity wise, but her entire, like her and her family all live in Korea. They're all Korean. But yeah, no, my grandpa, he had a falling out with faith. He had a falling out with God because of something he saw a pastor, a Methodist pastor do in a church where they took an offering for like, I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't for the church. It wasn't for the pastor, but they took an offering and he took one of the envelopes, opened it. He saw the pastor do this. And the pastor was going through the money and plucked some out of the envelope, put it in his pocket, closed the envelope, put it back. And once my grandpa saw that happen, he's like, no, no more. I'm not going here anymore. If this is what it's about, I don't want it. And for that, I was like, well, didn't Jesus say that the church should look more like a hospital? The pastor's not perfect. He's human too. Like, like that's one thing that gets to me is when people blame God for things that humans do that claim to be Christian. So when that happened, I called him out and I corrected him with the Bible verses and everything. And they were all just shocked at me that I dared to talk back. I'm like, I don't care. Like, honey, I got nothing to lose here.
Yeah.
If you're wrong, you're wrong. Oh, well.
Did you call him Oppa?
Oppa is more for brother. Like brother or like a close male friend.
Like
He's
older brother,
Harabuji
right?
to me. My grandpa.
What was he?
Harabuji.
Harabuchi.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Look at that pronunciation.
You speak Korean?
Yeah, it's my first language.
Really?
Yes.
I'm
not as fluent anymore. I can definitely understand more than I can speak, but I can still speak pretty well.
괜찮아. 알았어요. 무서워.
아이고 참. 잘한다. 어떡해.
I've been to Korea twice. South Korea.
Oh, wait. Really?
I've been to I've been to Gangnam.
Oh, of course you have.
I've been to Hongdae. I've been to Itaewon. I like Korea. Korea's a cool place.
Korea's an amazing place.
I've not been to North Korea though yet. And
Yeah, no.
no else in my lifetime I'll do that. So you told your grandfather that you disrespected him, I guess, in terms of Korean culture.
Yeah, I corrected him, and that's disrespectful.
Right. And what's the relationship like today? Fast forward, is he still with
There
us?
is no relationship.
None.
None. I don't
Is he,
talk to my mother or her family at all. Not because of that situation. Like, my mother and the rest of her family, other than my grandpa, still liked me. And after that, he kind of like had to warm back up to me. I'm like, I'm sorry if I embarrassed you. However, literally, like, I'm sorry, but there's so many parts of the Bible where I'm just like, it just covers everything in life. And there's one verse in the Bible that says, if you do not like rebuke, then you are dumb. Like if you don't accept it and like acknowledge it, then you are dumb. And he literally was just avoiding it. And Adam likes Asian girls that love God.
this is my friend Patterson. Oh, quick side
Hi.
note. Yo, Patterson, I forgot to tell you, I'm coming to Tampa tomorrow. I'll be there at 8 a.m. for the March for Life in downtown St. Petersburg. So I'm going to be marching to support pro-life, support babies, and speak out against abortion, because I think abortion is murder. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. It's your conscience, and you'll have to deal with that at some point eventually.
Yeah.
But Patterson, hit me up, because I'll be there all day Saturday, and then I'm going to go out to a country show Saturday night music with my friend Pete. And if you want to join us, you're more than welcome to. So hit me up. So back to you. So you don't have a relationship with your mom's side of the family at all anymore?
Nope, no relationship at all. Which sucks because one of my cousins had a baby girl, and one of them two of them got married. I'm not able to see either of them since then. Have not met one of their spouses, and they had like a daughter and everything. But yeah, no, I don't talk to my mother or her family, not necessarily just because of that incident. My grandpa definitely distanced himself from me after that. My mom's dad and mom are divorced, and then he remarried. She never remarried. She's much more like in tune with God, I guess, closer to God than he is because of all that. But she loves me. He's distanced himself from me. So, I mean, it is what it is. And at this point, I'm just like, you know what? If they don't like me because of how I am, and they want to distance themselves, that is fine. I'm at the point now where I'm just like, I've been through so much. I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince you guys to stay in my life, even if you're family.
What about when you and your fiance have kids?
What about
when you and your fiance have kids? What about when you and your fiance have kids? Are you going to try to repair the relationship, you think?
I love my friends. Hey. Yes, we're going to not the relationship, but once we have kids. So we've already come to terms. My mother was very narcissistic as well. Basically manipulated, lied a lot to get her way in a lot of different ways, and basically just destroyed my self-confidence as a child. So she will not. We're adamant at this point, given the stuff that she's pulled, trying to take me away from Daniel, even though I'm 23. We're very adamant that she will never meet the kids, and once they are of age, they can choose that for themselves. However, by that point, they will be educated on what to run away from and what to not accept. So
why don't they like Daniel? I like him. I didn't even know him. He's a veteran.
He's
an
an amazing
jealous.
man. She does not like him.
I'm jealous he's dating you, but why doesn't she like Daniel?
She does not like him. So number one, she's never met him. And I moved to Texas to be with him before she met him. So that can play a part in it. And that's the only kind of, what's it called? What's the phrase? Benefit of the doubt that I can give her. That's the only kind of benefit of the doubt that I can give her, that, maybe it's sorry because I did this without her meeting him, whatnot. However, that does not excuse the fact that she told me and lied to me, because she knows I'm closer to one of my aunts that she's closer to as well in the family. However, I'm closer to that aunt than I am with her. And she told me, definitely lied, and said that she told my aunt about Daniel. My aunt prayed about Daniel and said that his spirit, quote unquote, his spirit is not good. Like, it's not good with God. And my problem with that is that the Lord would not tell her that. That's
Right.
between God and Daniel. There's no like three-way messaging here going on. It's between God and Daniel. So the Lord would not have told her that about my man. And so I'm like, okay, that's a lie. You can't use. Are you crushing at him? I'm. What?
Stay focused. He's asking if I have a crush on you. Stay focused.
Oh, sorry. I get easily distracted. I swear I'm on the you know.
Yeah, I got it too. Don't worry. Don't worry.
But yeah, no. So because of that happened first, and I've gotten very used to just hanging up the phone the moment she started trying to manipulate me, just shut it down right there. As well as there were 2 other times she tried to manipulate me, as far as saying and lying to me that he had lied about going to West Point and that he was not a veteran, even though he has a certificate that says otherwise. Mm-hmm. He literally has a certificate, and he's on like the list of graduates, which is mother, come on. And then the biggest one, which made me, I'm just like, okay, you're done. You're out of my life now. You cannot disrespect him like that. Like, he's my fiance. Stop. Was when she told me that she told me that she was afraid he was going to try to sex traffic me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere.
Once she said that, I was like, okay, you are done. You're done. Bye. Like, no more. Wow. And
that's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah, that's kind it's extremely bold. And she's made bolder statements, like saying that he never graduated from West Point, that like he lied about that.
Right. That's crazy.
It's stupid, because then she also proceeded to say that, oh, this is not like I know it's because I have an FBI friend who looked him up and found all this information on him. And I'm over here just like, first off, you have his first and last name, maybe his birthday, but you don't have the year, you don't have Social Security, you don't have his middle name, you don't have his parents' name, you don't have any other information about him. Therefore, there's no way you have an FBI friend who looked up information about him, because you don't have enough to look him up. Like, you don't have enough info to look him up. So it's sad that it took that much for me to cut her out, because she was doing way worse to me than she ever did about Daniel. But it took that much for me to be like, okay, because you're doing this to him now, you're done. So she's no longer in my life because of that. My mom's family doesn't really talk to me anyway, so I'm just like, I'm not losing much. Whatever.
Right.
I think your mom loved Adam. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm just sharing the comments people are writing. I'm not telling them to type anything.
Don't worry, I trust you. My only thing to that would be, my mother is so blatantly racist that she actually told me if I ever dated a black man or a Mexican man, she would kill herself.
So that there is, let's talk about the topic of racism, because that's a really good transition you just did. I truly believe that, I'm a person of color. So are you. You're a person of color. And I truly do believe that America is the greatest country in the world to be a person of color. It is the greatest country to be a minority. And some observations that I've made is we have representation everywhere. You probably actually in the US have overrepresentation. What I mean by that is, if you look at ads, advertising, you go to Old Navy, you go to Target, there's more black people in ads than the actual percentage of the US.
Literally.
Because all these companies are woke. Like, it's really rare to see a white person in an ad anymore, because
they want to represent everybody. They don't want anyone to feel left out.
Exactly. I was watching the movie The Eternals, and The Eternals, by the way, was a terrible movie. However, the cast was so ethnically diverse that it was like distracting, because it was just like super, it was like extra diverse for no reason. So in my opinion, it was like super woke, whatever. My point is, though, when you go overseas to places like Korea, Mexico, other countries, there is something called race. There actually is racism based on skin color. Mm-hmm. But interestingly enough, it's called colorism, not just racism. Colorism is when you are within the same race and you judge the different tones of skin color, right? So in Korea, for example, they really love skin lightening creams. Mm-hmm. They love whitening pastes. They love anything to do with.
They love making your skin as white as possible.
Exactly. And if you look at the models, if you look at the TV, everything, everyone's always super white, unless they're a bad guy. Then they might be like the rebellious tan.
Yeah.
Korean, right.
Like
So
in all the like movies and dramas, the rebellious bad guys are always tan. They're always darker
exactly,
skin tone.
exactly. So let me see if I can pull this up real quick. So when you go overseas, there actually is this mindset of colorism, and the way it's described, at least in Mexico, for example, is in Mexico, there's this belief that people that are darker are poor, low educated, just a lower class, and people that are light skinned are upper class, work in an office space, all that stuff, and it applies globally. Thailand has the same mindset too. So I'm not excusing your mother having those thoughts. It's 2021. She should probably, adjust her mindset a little bit to
Yeah.
adapt. But I can also say that the culture that she comes from,
Hmm.
I can understand
It
why.
doesn't help.
Right. And just to give you an example, do you ever watch K-pop? Do you like K-pop?
I hate K-pop. I'm sorry. I no.
All right, I love K-pop. I'm sorry, I love K-pop. And one of my favorite artists, favorite groups is Blackpink. So props to Blackpink. Shout out to Blackpink. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is I want to show you what one of the singers looked like before and after she got, I guess, K-popped. All right. She is the only Thai girl in the group. Her name is Lisa. This is her before and after, right there. You
Oh
see her?
my goodness.
This is her before and after.
Whoa, she got Koreanized.
Apparently,
Dang, girl.
yeah, click later. Let me close this skip. So she was this adorable little Thai girl. She had a typical Thai nose that you'll see sometimes. Sometimes you'll see Thailand. They do have the wider bridge noses.
Hmm.
Dark skin, but she was so talented, but they couldn't hire her unless she changed her look. So you could see kind of the work that they put into her with the skin lightening, the nose job.
Jeez.
Looks like minor eye surgery, probably some chin reshaping.
Yeah, definitely some narrowing here.
But to me, this is kind of heartbreaking because the average Thai person doesn't look like the girl on the right. The
Nope.
average Thai person looks like the girl on the left.
Hmm.
Just like I look like the average Mexican. I don't look like the 6'2" skinny white skinned European
Yeah.
Mexican,
And
right?
it breaks my heart that they put in her mind that she had to change how she looked for people to accept her like that.
Well, it's not even in her mind. It's also the population of Thailand, because if 70% of girls look like the one on the left, how powerful would that have been for them to see a girl that looked like them
Yeah, exactly.
in the mainstream in
And look at the
commercials?
message that they're probably getting now is that you're not enough if you look like that. You have to look like that, or else you're
Correct.
not wanted.
Correct. And so
Jeez.
and so a lot of girls in Thailand, I mean, breast implants are so common there. It's a dime a dozen. You know, I personally, I'm just gonna. This is the Candid AF show, so let's just be candid here. Hey, Devon, have a good night, brother. Thanks for joining, man. Um, I personally do enjoy breast implants. Let's just put it out there. I do like women with breast implants. I also like natural too, but I like breast implants. You go to Thailand, almost every girl has them.
Hmm.
Almost every girl has them because there's this pressure there that you have to look like the girl on the right,
Hmm.
and the girl on the left isn't good enough. And to me, that's kind of heartbreaking.
It is very heartbreaking. And
You know,
also, like, as a woman, I can't help but think about little girls who are watching this as well.
exactly.
Like, can you imagine the damage it's doing to their self-esteem, into their self-confidence? Like, seeing that, like me growing up, even though I was younger, and definitely not as much as out there as like back then as it is now. And so me just thinking about all of that, I'm just like, geez, because like I suffered from a eating disorder. It wasn't because of like a magazine. It was because of literal abuse from my father that drove me to that eating disorder. However, like if I were young now dealing with that, that would destroy me. That would drive me over the edge probably.
Right. I hear that. I had to switch cameras. This camera died. I think it overheated the battery. Look how much worse I look now when I go in the webcam. I look like it's terrible. I don't know what's
And
going
I feel like I'm high tech now because I'm clear.
Yeah, you're all clear. Shit. Let me see if I could fix this. No, this is considered high definition. Wow.
Dang, I'm sorry, man.
This is a MacBook Pro too. That's pretty sad. That is pretty
is
sad. All right, so Papana says that he doesn't like breast implants. That's cool. Different strokes for different folks.
Mm-hmm.
I do prefer natural too. I mean, I prefer. I do enjoy natural too, so I can go both ways. Patterson says I look whiter. See, I got the K-pop treatment. The MacBook Pro gives me the K-pop treatment.
Oh goodness.
I took I took some notes earlier in the conversation about things I wanted to talk about. So you were talking earlier about the roommate you had.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, do you think men and women can be friends?
Okay, it depends. So if the guy and girl are both single, it's very difficult to just stay friends.
Right.
At least on the guy's part, because the guy. So I saw this video that Danielle sent to me because I was under the impression that I'm like, yeah, we're just friends. It's fine. We're just friends. It's all good. Like talking about somebody else who has tested the waters before. I just didn't think it was enough to really like block him for that. But once I saw it, I'm like, okay, yeah, no. And I blocked him. And I also hadn't talked to him for like months prior because I was like, I don't know how I feel about him. So out of respect for Daniel, and because he was not respecting Daniel, I blocked him because it was just no more. And the video I saw was people, I think, on a college campus interviewing like girls and guys. Like, can girls and guys be friends? And the girls are all like, yeah, of course. And the guys are like, no, we cannot. We cannot just stay friends. And then there was one where there's a girl and guy sitting down. He interviewed the girl and was like, who's your best friend? She goes, him. I think she called him Bobby or something. She's like, him. And he goes, okay, well, if she gave you the opportunity, would you make out with her? Like, would you hook up with her? He goes, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, do you not see her? And she's over here just like, what? Because the thing is, like, I think as long as you are both in committed relationships where both spouses are aware and there's trust, then it's okay. Because I'm friends with a guy named Kian on TikTok who I met on TikTok. And it's funny because he met his now fiance as well on TikTok, and I met Daniel on TikTok. So it's funny. But he and I are able to just be friends. We were able to because there's no way he and I could get feelings for each other. Like, we're both very different people, and we both are very strong Christians. So like,
I was gonna ask that are you guys both strong believers in
I think that has to be like also
that is the X factor though. I think that is why it can work because you are both God-fearing people.
Exactly.
And you believe that if you were to cheat, it's a sin. And
well,
so
that and also was we love our
right. But that's not enough for most people because most people will cave to temptation. That's the bottom line. Most people will cave eventually. So just because you love your husband, your fiance, and he loves his wife, doesn't mean anything. The point is, I think what keeps your friendship allowed is that you both fear that if you do cheat, you're disobeying Jesus and you're sinning and you go to hell.
Yeah.
So
well, there's definitely that too. Because I feel like a lot of people who don't know the Lord don't fear the Lord the way we do.
Right, because I'll be honest, I don't know what happens after we die. I'm terrified of death. I'm truly terrified of death. That's something that I have to grapple with all the time. I think about it every day.
When I say we, I mean like me and Kian and Daniel.
Right. I'm just trying to say that I don't live my life fearing hell or God or Jesus because I'm Jewish by religion. I grew up as a Jewish person. I was bar mitzvahed. But I try to live a life based on what doesn't hurt other people and what makes other people feel better or makes people feel, good or happy. But it has nothing to do with religion for me. But yeah, I think that the religion angle can help keep you guys friends longer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also that like I saw this video. I think China McLean made this video. So she said like, as she's also a very strong Christian, and she said blatantly like, when I say that Christians are like try to be as moral as possible, she says I'm not trying to say that someone who's not a Christian cannot try to be moral or cannot have morals. But however, there is more of a consequence when you're a Christian and you believe in God. Because you believe in the sins, in punishment, in hell. You believe in those punishments. However, favorite commie in the house. Okay.
Yeah, Reds is a communist, and he hates Trump.
Okay.
and he loves Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He's like their biggest supporter.
I'm assuming you're not being sarcastic right now.
No, I'm not. I'm being honest.
Okay.
He loves Joe
I'm
Biden.
having trouble. If you're being sarcastic, it's
No, I'm being,
really well played out.
no, I'm being serious. He loves Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Okay.
He voted. He
Oh,
voted for
welcome
them.
on, Renzo. Hi.
We voted for them, and we allow him here because we believe in freedom of speech.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
But yeah, no, like there's much more of a fear of just punishment when you're a Christian. To be as moral as possible. It's also because you love God, you know, but
right.
Then if you were not a Christian, then it comes to a point where you're just like mentally, what consequence is there really that to be afraid of? Like, what consequences are there actually for me? Like, once you're out of the house of your parents, like, once you're no longer under their authority, you know? It's like that mentality goes away. It's like, well, I'm not really afraid of them anymore, whatever. And you just do whatever you want, you know?
I mean, I'm gonna since this is the Candid AF show, you know, I actually, I try to avoid married women. That's just my principles. I really don't like to meet married women. There's no point, in my opinion, because they're married. And I don't like introducing unnecessary drama into my life. I don't need some crazy husband coming and killing me or hurting me because his wife was unfaithful. It works both ways. Men could be unfaithful, women could be unfaithful. But I'm a man in the situation, so I'm just talking about the women. But I will say, when it comes to non-Christian women, women who are either fake Christians or women who are not religious, married women are often, sometimes you go to a bar, you find a married woman, they are sometimes the loneliest people. And so they are often the most available at a bar, which is kind of crazy, right? Because I can go to a bar, I can see a single 25-year-old. In today's day and age, if they're not religious, they're probably sugar babies. That's just how it is today. Because Instagram and OnlyFans and TikTok have changed the game. These young, pretty girls they're all sugar babies, escorts, sideline girls, all of them now. It's unbelievable. Or I can go for some, I could see some 42 married woman who just isn't getting laid anymore. And now she's just desperate and she's not a sugar baby because she's got income from either her husband or she's a career woman at her advanced, more advanced age. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that that's the kind of world we're living in right now.
It's really sad.
It is. Like, I've been single now I did date a girl for a little bit, for a few months, a few weeks. Whoever's watching my channel that's been around, you know who I'm talking about. But now that I've been single, it's really hard to find someone that, A, I think is good looking enough that I'd want to be with. B, is a good age range for me, because I'm 38. So I don't want to go too young, but also I'm a man. So I'm attracted to girls that, have beauty and youth. It is what it is. What else is there? What else am I going on with my Candid AF? But it's very difficult these days. And so you're very lucky that you're kind of out of the dating game right now.
Yeah, honestly, like that was my biggest thing with Daniel. I'm just like, you know what? It's gonna sound terrible. Like, I love you, honey, but I'm also so relieved to not have to worry about men anymore. like I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to entertain anybody. I don't have to risk anything. Like it's a huge relief. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, I'm still out there single on all the dating apps, and dating apps suck. Half these girls, they just want Instagram followers. The other half want TikTok followers. The other half want OnlyFans subscribers.
Oh, goodness.
The other half are catfishers. Oof. So I think I just described 200% of people, but whatever. So yeah. So it's very difficult these days with the normalization of transactional sex here in America. Before you wanted to pay for sex, you had to really either it was like seedy underground in the US, right? Strip clubs, you go online, find some like nasty escorts, or you would just go overseas to like Tijuana in Mexico and you'd find the streetwalkers, or you go to the strip clubs there. Now it's like every young, beautiful girl is on OnlyFans, or they expect cash in their Cash App. Yep. So it's like really crazy. So then it's like, so then who would I date? It sounds like I'd have to find a good Christian girl. The problem is, though, what do good Christian girls like?
Well, the thing is, you got to find a Christian girl, as in Christian, as in they live by the Bible.
That's what I'm saying. But then they like good Christian men. which I'm which I'm not.
Yeah, because you can't be unequally yoked.
Right. So it's just it's the whole dating game has absolutely changed. And I'll be honest, a lot of it is part on my end because as I become a bigger Trump supporter and as my thoughts have become more conservative, I can't see myself dating a liberal woman anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And liberal women are usually the freest when it comes to dating
Yeah, that
and
kind of stuff.
promiscuity and that kind of stuff. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting times right now to be single, and it's good that you are not having to worry about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful to have Daniel, not just because he's an amazing man, but because literally I have trust issues. I can't speak English apparently. I have trust issues, like terrible trust issues. And so for me, this is what I'll always say to any Christian couple, is that if y'all are having trouble, if she's having trouble like in the relationship or we're not just not feeling comfortable, if you lead correctly the way God has called you to lead, she will submit naturally. Because
Submit.
Daniel led me correctly, like by the Bible, by the word, and everything. And I submitted naturally. Because I felt safe. As somebody who's been abused and been in abusive situations by her father and other men in her life, I did not, like, when I wanted to move here originally, yeah. When I wanted to move here originally, I was fully prepared to just have 2 dogs, Shadow my service animal, and then get one more dog, live alone, go to work, go to church, come back home, don't interact with too many people, have mainly girlfriends who I knew were not into gossip, because that's like one of my biggest pet peeves is gossip. If you start gossiping, I will gravitate away from you. Not out of judgment, just because I cannot handle high school drama as an adult. It's just stupid. So that's a huge thing for me, but when I was originally coming here, I did not want anybody. And I could not see myself trusting a man at all because of the things I've been through. And so Daniel really did lead me correctly by God, by the Bible. And I submitted naturally. And honestly, that's something that most women crave, is to be loved as Christ loved the church. Christ died for the church. So most women crave to be loved and protected like that. Men want to be respected. They want to be submitted to. They want to be respected. And that's literally our relationship. I give him my input. He makes a final decision. And we see eye to eye on pretty much everything. So it's not anything that's crazy for us.
Right.
I missed the
Yeah, I mean everything you said, I agree with, and this is coming from a lifelong liberal. I do think let's talk about feminism a little bit. I do think I really do think that feminism is destroying the fabric of the U.S.
Oh, definitely.
It is one of the worst things to happen to this country. Now, I'm not referring to first wave feminism where it was kind of like equal pay for the same job. I totally understand that. But I'm talking about feminism where it starts to there's no
Modern
more
feminism.
there's no more logic anymore. And I'll give you an example. You look at sports leagues, right? Men don't get paid more because they're men. Like you look at NBA and you look at WNBA. Why do NBA players get 1,000 times more than WNBA? Is it because they're men? No, it's because men are faster, men are stronger, men
biologically.
But it's biological. It's science. And so when people choose where they're going to spend their money and where they want to watch, what sports they want to watch human beings do incredible things. Now, that's why the NBA commands more money. That's why the NBA has more viewers. More viewers means more advertising dollars. The more advertising dollars, the bigger the pot of money gets split amongst the players. So when women like the soccer team try to go to the Supreme Court or whatever and say we demand equal pay for the same job, we have the same. You don't have the same job. You're in a lower league than the men are. It just is what it is.
That's just how that is. Yeah.
That's how it is. But then people don't realize that there are a lot of industries where women make more money than men. They don't realize this. For example, PR industry, that is dominated by females. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you heard the story, but Google went woke and they said, we want to look at everyone's pay, everyone's salary, and we want to make sure that women are making as much money as men. So they did an analysis. They took everyone's salary, and you know what they found out? They found out that women were getting paid a little bit more than the men. So the raise ended up going to the men and not the women.
Yep. And the women
So
probably pissed off.
women pissed off, but it's like, yo, you were making more, but you opened your mouth, and now the men are going to get their
Like,
raise.
you did this to yourself.
Yeah, because there's this false perception that women get paid less than men. They don't when the
They
job is
don't.
equal. When the job is equal, they don't get paid less than men.
And honestly,
Um,
name one thing as a woman that like men can do that you can't do. You're not gonna be able to find anything.
right, exactly.
Literally.
I think sports though is just the one example where there are innate biological differences that kind of highlight and emphasize,
Oh,
the way
absolutely.
things are.
And I think
But
that was super highlighted. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I just think feminism has ruined that traditional relationship between men and women, and it seems like you and your fiance have that traditional relationship that makes you satisfied and
Yeah.
makes him satisfied.
Yeah.
You
And like the thing is also like we have this mentality already because we're both Christian. And like I'm not trying to say that if you're not Christian you cannot have the mentality. I'm saying that we are more like on the traditional side and respectful of each other because of it, because we are Christians. Because we know, like the Lord says to do these things for a reason. He wouldn't just put it out there for the heck of it, you know?
Right,
To like to try to hold us back. He doesn't want to hold us back. Like he doesn't want to. That's not
right.
his goal in life, you know? And so I feel like that's like the biggest reason why we are so traditional and why it suits us so well is because we not only see what he says, we see why he says it because the world is doing it the wrong way. The world is turning things and not going by. Like this country was literally built off the Bible, built off the gospel, you
Yeah,
know?
we
And
we had
so,
Judeo-Christian values,
yeah,
and now those are going away.
yeah. Like it's literally in the Pledge of Allegiance. God is in the Pledge of I can't speak English apparently. Pledge of Allegiance.
That's right. They're trying to take that out of schools. It's crazy.
It's
So
insane. I'm just
here-
like,
here's an article that
why are y'all pressed over that?
which layout you like more, one or two? I like this one more.
Yeah.
I like that layout more. Um, yeah, this is an article. Church attendance is dying. I don't know if you've seen this, but
Mm-hmm.
it basically show church attendance here. Uh, and as you can see on the chart, it's been going down over time.
Mm-hmm.
Let me close this ad.
I also
Yeah.
think it's partially the church's fault as well, but go on.
But look at this. Back when you go in 2003, 51% of elders were going to church.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2020, 37%. Maybe the pandemic effect. So
Oh, definitely did
let's look at
something. Yeah, yeah.
2018, still 38%.
Mm-hmm.
Look at boomers from 45 down to 31%. Look at
Mm-hmm.
Gen X from 34% down to 30. They actually had the least change. And the millennials are at 29%, down from a high of 36%. Millennials were
Dang.
never that high, which goes to show that the younger you are, the less engaged you are in church. It seems to be,
Exactly.
unfortunately, a dying institution. And I do think that this is a purposeful attack on the church, on religion, across our establishment, our education system, and most of all, our social media. You know,
Definitely.
TikTok. And look, I'm not a religious person at all. I'm not a religious person at all. But TikTok is just constantly showing us very crazy stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
godless, a lot of godless stuff.
Definitely.
You know,
And honestly, it has a lot to do with the world, has a lot to do with, social media, has a lot to do with sin in general, but it also has to do with the church itself. Because I have literally left churches because I was being bullied because I was super anxious and people were judging me for that and saying that I was trying to like attention seek or whatever. So the church should definitely, like, I'm a Christian, and I'm saying that it's not all, like, obviously you didn't say it is, but like it's not all the social media's fault. It's not all like the world's fault. It's not all like the pandemic's fault. It's literally everything combined. But also the fact that like I literally heard this one video, there's like an audio, but it was this pastor saying like in a sermon that he attended a different church to just see what they were talking about, see how they work and everything, which they will often do that to try to better their own churches as well. But he sat through the service and he said that the pastor goes straight off the bat, let's talk about sex. And automatically he's like, oh no, like this can either go really good or really, really bad. And so the pastor threw a red, like smelled the red rose, like, oh, you know, it's so pretty, it smells so good. He threw it out in the audience. And he goes, okay, I want all y'all to smell that and to touch it and just feel how beautiful it is. The thorns are taken off, don't worry, like that kind of stuff. And by the end of the sermon, he asks for that rose back. And he takes it back, and the petals are taken off of it. It's just not as pretty anymore. It still smells, but it's not as pretty, or like it's not new. It's clearly touch, it's used, you know? And he goes, this is what it's like. I'm not quoting because I can't quote it, but he's like something along the lines of, this is what it's like when you have sex before you're married. This is what it's like when you have sex in general. I'm just like, that infuriated me. Because I'm just like, number one, who are you to judge them? You can't, like, judging and rebuke are completely different things. Judgment is not what God has called us to do. Only God can judge. And last time I checked, he wasn't hiring help. So that's my biggest thing when people like judge, like Christians judge other people. Like, the Lord doesn't hire help for this. So if you're going to rebuke them.
I'm personally waiting. I'm waiting until marriage, personally. I'm a virgin.
Good for you.
No,
that's awesome.
I was being sarcastic. I was being sarcastic. I know you might be. I was just making a joke.
I'm not.
You're not a virgin?
I'll be honest. I've been down that road. Yeah, I've been down that road. And Daniel and I are waiting for marriage. We have not done anything like that.
Good for you guys. Now, I do have a lot of respect for that. I was making a joke because my audience knows me, and they know that they know that I'm always out and about.
Yeah, so, well, it's obvious now to y'all. I don't know him that well yet.
Right, you don't know me that well.
I do now, but
my screen went off. I hope you could still hear me. Hold on.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, cool. But yeah, that's exactly. They should not be judging you.
Yeah, and like I always say, there's a difference between judgment and rebuke. We're called to rebuke each other, but that is love and truth combined. If you're not feeling love with what the person is saying to you, if they're not coming to you with love, then it's not rebuke. God isn't mentioned in the Constitution.
Yeah, so I wanted to just like quickly do some research on this, and this is really interesting stuff. I mean, I've never thought about this because I just personally not really that interested, but the answer is interesting. So the Declaration of Independence that we have, that does mention God-given rights. So the Declaration explains and justifies a rebellion to secure God-given rights. So that is where it does mention God. And, you know, God-given rights, we all have a lot of those. I think the right to breathe. The right to
freedom of choice.
Freedom of choice, right? Although, again, I don't consider abortion to be a woman's choice.
That's not freedom of choice. That's
that's a psyops. That was a psychological operation to reduce the Black population. And I will believe that until I'm given evidence otherwise. But the data speaks for itself. Here it is.
Daniel has the same stance.
Exactly. Because they're the community that is getting decimated by abortion the most. The Constitution is a blueprint for stable and effective Republican government in a free country. So that's the difference, Renzo, is the Constitution is not about God-given rights. It's a blueprint for how we should run our government. The Declaration of Independence is God-given. And in my opinion, you have to look at all the documents in totality. That's what makes America, America. It's not just one sentence. It's not just one word. It's all the documents that our founding fathers created. And
they
again,
knew what they were doing. They covered their bases.
They did. And again, abortion has nothing to do with choice. Abortion is, simply put, it's murder. It's wrong. And this is coming from a non-religious viewpoint. I don't have a religious viewpoint about this. I'm not referring to Jesus Christ, although I know, Raya, you might be doing that, and that's fine.
I mean, I refer to it both scientifically and Christian-wise. Like, I can easily prove that abortion is murder without using the Bible.
Right. It is.
Like anybody can, but you know.
Exactly. Let me try to switch cameras back. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this.
Okay.
This shit is so annoying. My camera keeps, I think it's overheating. I think that's what's happening.
Jeez.
My friend Tara warned me, though. She says that this camera is prone to doing that if you go more than like an hour. So that's what's happening. I look so much better in 4K. My goodness, we need to keep it in 4K. Let me see another question that I wanted to ask you about. So yeah, there was a big movement last year. Stop Asian Hate. What are your thoughts on that movement?
So, okay, so I personally witnessed my mother when she was in my life and my father were both in my life, and she would work around the clock to keep a roof over our heads. I grew up in a very poor situation, honestly. But that aside, she provided. But this is what I always say, people who get all upset over people being racist. I'm like, yes, it's terrible. It should not happen. It is horrible. However, you shouldn't let that stop you in your path, because my mother didn't let it stop her in her path. People were racist, people held her back from working, people were openly like criticizing her English and her lack thereof English or grammar or whatnot. She didn't let that stop her. She kept going and provided for us. She did what she had to do and provided for us and kept it over our head. She had a daughter, and I was on medication at the time too, and she kept medication in me, food in me, everything, took care of us. And so for me, because I witnessed it, I will say it's definitely, in my opinion, not as prevalent anymore. Because there's a lot more like mixed children, it's more like understood and everything. However, I did witness like the forefront of my mother being racially persecuted, I guess, or like sought after, especially by police officers. So I put this in my testimony because it does involve God. But when my father's abuse was becoming more obvious and prevalent, my mother would call the police, and because it was a white disabled man against a not disabled Asian woman whose English is not good, they took his side over hers and believed that because he was disabled, he could not hurt us the way that we claimed that he did. And so I witnessed that on like a level where it affected my safety. And the police, I will always back the blue, but when it comes to me being in trouble, I get very anxious with the police because they've never really done their job for me. Like when it comes to protecting me, doing like I was literally in a hospital bed because my father hit me and I fell because of it, and I had a bruised bone on my arm from where he hit me, and my foot was very badly sprained from me falling after he hit me. And I was literally in a hospital bed getting my foot splinted up as the police officers were telling my mother and I that they couldn't do anything for us because it's considered discipline because my father had hit me, even though it put me in the hospital.
Crazy.
And so, yeah, so I've had some really bad experience with police officers, but that's coming from me that I still back the blue because not all cops are bad. Like, not all cops are bad. I've met some pretty good cops. However, they've never been the ones to answer my phone calls. But I met some pretty good cops. And so for me, like, it's definitely something that's happened in the past. It hasn't happened to me lately. Lately, like, people are shocked when I say I'm half Korean. I guess they just can't tell. I don't know. But I don't experience as much now as it was back then. It's definitely gotten better. All I have to say, it's definitely gotten better.
Yeah, I mean, I've been definitely racially profiled throughout my life. I think it happened last night, actually, as I was walking my dogs in Daytona Beach. I mean, it was 4 a.m. when I was walking my dogs and I was wearing a hoodie. But the cops did roll past me slowly and then kind of like turned to cut me off. And, nothing happened. But I've been stopped by the police before riding my bicycle. They said that I fit the description of a criminal. But the thing is how do you respond and react to when that happens, right?
Yeah.
And I don't freak out. I don't curse them. I don't, I mean, I'm going to be honest. If I'm driving past police officers, I don't play the song "Fuck the Police." I don't play that song. I'll actually, as a joke, put on Celine Dion, or I'll put on something like very non-triggering, and I'll blast it like because then it's like what criminal is going to blast Celine Dion? I think it's funny. But I think that's the issue is a lot of these criminals that end up becoming martyrs, they have records, they resist arrest, they're not complying, they're violent, they're angry people.
They're throwing a fit. They literally force the cops to throw their body weight on them.
Exactly. And again, no cop should be judge, jury, and executioner. If a police officer, incorrectly kills somebody, then yes, they should be punished as well. I totally agree that. I do think police need to wear body cams 24 hours. As soon as they clock in, body cam has to go on without question. So I do think police do need to be reformed. I understand that, but I don't think things like defunding the police make sense. I think
it doesn't make sense.
More money, more funding, more budgets, better technology.
If anything, like if you want to see change, why don't you start by being the change? Why don't you sign up for it? Why don't you go to training? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And the thing is, for me, like, it breaks my heart because, like I said, not all cops are bad, and also you cannot point fingers at a cop until you are put in a situation where someone is rushing at you with a knife, with a weapon, and it's either you put them down or you're not returning to your family that night.
I have two perspectives on this, right? Like,
Mhm.
and I'm going to do a shot with Renzo right now of tequila because you brought it up, not me. Renzo, this one's for you. Oh, God. Anyway, that was the smallest sip I've taken. I have two perspectives when it comes to this, right? The first thing is, if you're a police officer, you need to be trained to be able to compose yourself and think rationally, even in insane situations. You
Mhm.
know, like there was a video recently that went viral of a police officer killing a pit bull puppy. I don't know if you've seen it, but he killed a pit bull puppy that if you I didn't watch the video because I don't need to see it, but everybody that has seen the video told me the pit bull puppy did not exert any aggressive behavior, did not exhibit a threat at all. It was a puppy trying to say hi to the officer, and the officer gunned the pit bull down with 6 shots. Heartbreaking shit.
That's
You know,
overkill.
exactly. That officer should not be an officer. If you cannot read a puppy and understand a puppy's body language, then how
How
can
are
I
you
trust
supposed to
you around
understand
a
a
human?
criminal's body language?
Exactly. So part of me says they do need better training. They need more training,
Oh,
and
definitely.
they need to also be in shape. I really makes me sick to my stomach when I see. I'm sorry to say this, morbidly obese police officers, even
Yeah.
obese, even out of shape police officers, even out of shape pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I went to Poland once, and every police officer there was young, in shape, and handsome. They don't have to be handsome in America,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to be able to be in goddamn better shape than the average person.
You
That's the
have to
bottom
be
line.
in better shape than the person you're chasing.
Exactly. You need to be better than average if you're going to be a police
Exactly.
officer. And
You have
I
to be
know
able to jump the fences they're trying to jump, okay? You got to run
exactly.
faster than they can.
And I know in New York, for example, they don't have fitness tests very often. It's like once every couple of years. And so you have these officers there that literally do eat donuts all the time and
Mm-hmm.
literally are just unhealthy. And it's sickening. And the reason why that's dangerous to society is when your police officers are fat slobs out of shape and morbidly obese and can't actually physically control somebody, they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna go to the gun
Yeah,
because
and like also people will see that and like tempt them too. Like, oh, they
right.
can't get me. Just sprint away.
Exactly. So it's really important that we get everybody in shape, especially the police.
Mm-hmm.
We train them better. They have non-lethal weapons that they can use at their disposal, and that their cameras are always on. I'm for all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of me looking at police is that they're humans too.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, when they see a criminal, they want to go home to their family, their kids, their dog
Mm-hmm.
as well. And when it comes down to some situations, that's why I kind of lean towards I definitely support the police because I
Mm-hmm.
understand how hard their job is. And I understand the type of people they deal with. My cousin was an officer for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that you go to these places, these domestic violence places, and these people are all methed out of their heads. They're on drugs, cocaine, all this stuff. And they'll try to bite you. They'll spit on you. They'll have knives.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin told me, you never see the stories where we had an effective arrest, where nobody got hurt, everything was fine. You don't see those stories because
Mm-hmm.
there's no stories there.
Mm-hmm.
All you see is the bad stories.
Mm-hmm.
And the internet and everyone having a camera makes it look like it's way more common than it is.
Yeah.
So,
Like so for me, I will always be a gun-tone patriot.
you have
Always.
guns?
Yeah, we do in the house, yeah. Especially because of my family. I'm just like, if my parents found my address,
What kind of
if they
guns do you
try to
have?
get in the house,
What,
castle law.
what kind of guns do you have?
I'm sorry?
What kind of guns do you have?
I think there's 2 pistols, I think.
Good for you guys. You got to get that AK.
We're definitely going to be getting more guns once we're married and like
You got to protect
more
the family.
well off money wise. But
Yeah. What do you do for work?
I don't work. It's all him.
Hmm.
Like he has the job that could sustain both of us, and eventually he'll be getting paid enough to support like an actual family, like kids and everything.
Very, very traditional.
Yep, I stay at home. I cook, clean. I love to do it too. I love it. Like I said, lead correctly, she'll submit naturally.
Right. And
I love to do it for him.
you just crush it on TikTok.
I'm sorry?
And you just crush it on TikTok all day.
Yeah.
That's great. Someone here says, how is Florida the freest state in the country if you could still be locked up for marijuana? So the one thing you understand about Florida is, yes, you can get a misdemeanor for recreational marijuana. However, it's super easy to get a medical marijuana card out here. And if you do that, you could still buy marijuana at a dispensary. So it definitely adds a layer, but it's a very simple layer, and it's not impossible at all by any means to smoke marijuana legally here in Florida. So you definitely made it more extreme than it is. Like, it's not like, oh, you can't smoke here. You can just go to a doctor that'll write you a prescription. I personally, I don't smoke marijuana. I don't have a prescription card.
Yeah.
And it's just not something that I need to do in my life right now.
I mean,
What
they
do you
have
think?
that here in Texas too. They made it legal in Texas too, and like,
Yeah,
I prefer having a service dog.
yeah. I got my little girl right over here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the possibility of Ron DeSantis versus Donald Trump 2024? Who wins?
Ooh.
Trump.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, ooh, 'cause I'm like, if Trump runs, I feel like DeSantis should just back off out of respect for Donald Trump. It's like he's, like that just doesn't seem right if he's gonna run against Trump.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis has the rest of his life to run. Trump, this is his final stand.
Yeah,
So
and he's an amazing man. Like he's the best president we've had so far.
he's probably one of the best presidents.
Yeah.
Some people could make an argument that like George Washington was a better president because he was a founding father, but ultimately, I get it was legal at the time, but ultimately these people have sordid pasts. I mean, George Washington, the laws were different back then. For example, a lot of these presidents, they had slaves, and at the time it was legal, it was allowed to happen, but ultimately that morally was wrong.
Very wrong. Yeah.
The idea of owning somebody is a horrible stain on not just America's legacy, but legacies across the globe. People don't like to talk about it, but there is still slavery and slave trading and auctions happening in Africa today. Like it does happen. And you know what? There's also slavery still happening in the U.S., especially when it comes to sex trafficking and
absolutely.
children being kidnapped. Now, I don't know if you know this, but this month is, I believe, National Trafficking Awareness Month.
My goodness.
Yeah, it's a big month for that. Next week, I'm having a survivor on the show, a human trafficking survivor.
Wow.
And, that should be a pretty intense, conversation. But
I actually know of a woman who is a Christian who is a survivor of sex trafficking, and she didn't find God after she got out of there. She had 2 kids out of wedlock and then found God. And her story is just amazing because she didn't like run to God right after she got out and like, thank you, Lord, yada yada. She didn't do any of that, and just she's so full of wisdom. I guess what I'm trying to say. Like she's so full of wisdom. She's not your typical Christian. She is just so like, I could be literally, I don't even know, like super, super depressed or whatnot, watch her videos and just brings so much peace.
That's amazing to hear. Just so you can understand, by the way, how uninformed liberals are, because this guy is like a socialist liberal or something. There is nothing in Florida gun laws that says you have to surrender your weapons in order to get a medical marijuana card. You don't give up your right to bear arms just because you use medical marijuana.
Yeah.
So this literally just completely fact-checked him 100%.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Renzo do this for everything else he believes, because it'd be very easy to completely fact-check his entire ideology. But this, I will agree with, the cops do abuse their power, but not all cops. Some cops do.
Not all cops do it. That's something that grinds my gears like nothing else.
Oh, it grinds my gears too.
Yeah. Is people saying everyone is better, all cops or all this, all that. Like just the blatant just covering all of them in general is just because I mean, like, if you want to say that, then you could say, everyone who is sexually abused turns into a prostitute or turns into something like that. I was sexually abused and I'm over here about to get married. We're waiting for marriage.
It's interesting that the liberals and the left always say, Black people aren't a monolith. Latin Americans aren't a monolith. No one's a monolith except for Trump supporters and police. Then we're all white supremacists, or police are all evil.
Apparently,
when it comes to their
they
side,
generalize everything. That's what I was looking for. They generalize everything. They see one wrong thing, like, oh, everyone like that is terrible.
However, they will say that if you were a Black American voting for Trump, then you ain't Black. They do say that. So
Yeah.
they do also at the same time believe in monoliths. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious? That people will say that to Daniel, or people will try to say that to Daniel, but literally, he still has tracks. So, like, his father and his father's entire family used to be slaves, and they still live, part of the family still lives on the land where they were slaves.
Hmm.
Like, that,
So,
the family, once it all was done and ended and everything, the family gave the land to the slaves to live on and left.
hmm. So, by the way, I just did another fact check, and it's interesting. This up top here is saying that there's nothing in Florida's gun laws. Okay, so the state of Florida, this gets a little complicated. The state of Florida allows you to bear arms and have a medical marijuana card. So it's not a Florida law; it's a federal law that says you can't. So Renzo is half wrong and half right. But this same law goes across the country nationwide.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Florida does not have a law against it. Federally, it does. So he's wrong, and he's also half right. Remember, we're
So, but
transparent on this.
federal law says what?
Federal law right here says medical marijuana patients under federal law are prohibited from purchasing new firearms
Mm.
during the duration of the term of their medical marijuana card. New firearms.
So, like, if you already owned one and then you get medical marijuana, you're good.
Yes, it looks like that's okay. It looks like that's okay. So, for example, you as a gun owner, if you were living in Florida, since you already have a gun, you can then get a medical marijuana card based on what I'm reading. I think. So there you go. But it's not he's acting like he goes, oh, I never said Florida. He never said Florida. Hold on. We got receipts here. We got receipts right here. No, that's not the receipt. Where's the receipt? Hold on. Where is it?
I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure I saw Florida there.
Yeah. Here it is. Yeah, you know what? He didn't say Florida in this sentence. He only said it.
Gotcha.
He only said it. He said it above. He said it here. So,
but it's like, he's talking about that.
I assumed, but you know what?
Because it was going off of that message about marijuana.
Well, Renzo, we'll give you a benefit of the doubt. I'll take that back. Maybe I assumed and I made an ass out of myself there. But you know what? You're still wrong because you're a commie. So there's that. I'm right.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. You're not. The end of that argument. King Solomon says, what conspiracy theories do you believe? Yeah, tell me, what conspiracy theories do you believe?
Honestly, at this point, there's so many that I'm just like, you gotta bring one up because the moment
here we
that
go. I'll tell you some conspiracy theories I believe. Conspiracy theory number one that I believe that came true is that COVID came from a lab. It was obvious from January 25th, 2020.
And the funny part,
day one. It was just obvious from day one.
And the funny part, like, I can't quote it, but it came from like a lab where they had security on a cellular level, like to try to keep it in. And yet people out here think that their cloth cotton mask covered in daisies is going to protect them.
Yeah, I mean, it was always bullshit. I want to see if I can pull this up real quick. Hold on, give me 1 second as I try to navigate this. Usually Tara does this for me. Usually my co-host, she does all the technology in the back. Hey guys, I've been doing a lot of research. I'm just proud of this video right here. I'm just going to play it for a minute, okay? Okay, here we go. This is this video, by the way, guys, was posted January. Where is the date? Where is the date? Show more. Where the hell is the date here? Anyway, this was posted January 25th, 2020. All right? Watch this. On the coronavirus. And shit is scary. I know for a fact that the Chinese government is just, without question, lying to their citizens as well as the rest of the world about how dangerous this virus actually is. So this was January 25th, 2020. This was literally, I made this video the first day we had a case in Thailand because I was living in Thailand at the time. And I knew that this was going to shut down the world. I knew that this was coming from a lab. Let me see if I can find the lab part real quick. Yeah, here it is.
International experts in the field, and before it was constructive engineering and actually a lab in Wuhan.
I'm talking about the lab leak theory.
Does biochemical engineering, and they study and work with some of the most dangerous viruses in the world.
See, look at that. That was a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I nailed it. The only thing I got wrong in this video was the death rate of COVID. Because at the time they were talking 7 to 20%.
Yeah.
Luckily for all of us, it was never that high. But secondly, I do believe that China put out a lot of propaganda to scare us. Because do you remember the video clips of people dying suddenly on the street?
Yeah.
Look,
and some of the leaked videos that are being blocked by China.
Look,
people are dropping dead on the streets, and if you look at some of the hospital videos, there are dead patients on the floor next to.
So now I look back. I look back in hindsight. That was all propaganda.
Definitely.
That was all propaganda.
One of the doctors, I think a little bit like maybe several months later, even said there's no way this virus was just there, like was just out. There's no way this was not created in a lab, because there's no way it's so evolved and developed that there's no way we wouldn't have noticed it developing. Like there's no way we wouldn't have seen it in people and seen it change into the virus it is now. Like there's no way it wasn't made in the lab. And like people were saying that as like doctors were saying that.
I know, and they were getting silenced. They were getting suppressed.
Yep.
There
was that one doctor, I'm going to say it. She was a Black doctor, and she had an accent and everything. And she's like, this medicine, like, I am being blocked from giving this medicine. Like, I've not lost any patients. No patients have to die. Just give them this medicine.
But since we've brought it up, I have to put this banner in here real quick. Hold on, guys. Since we're bringing up some things, always consult the WHO and CDC for countervailing medical views. They are the experts. And if you want to get vaccinated, speak to your doctor about that. And you should strongly consider it. And also, Joe Biden is your president. Trump lost fair and square. All right. I have to do that every episode. I have to give my it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what they make us do.
I could see the death in your eyes as you were saying that.
Yeah, they make me say things that I don't really want to say, but you know, thank God for Rumble. Rumble, I can say whatever the hell I want. Do you believe in demonic possession? Have you had any strange spiritual experiences?
I have. So, how do I say this? Before, when I was a child, I'll talk about 2 different times. I don't want to talk about too much because I will start shaking because it was that freaky. But as a child, when I lived with my aunt and uncle, I think I was like 3 to 5.5 at the time. I was very, very badly abused in the house, like viciously badly abused. Like my uncle raped me 5 times, my aunt raped me once. Like it was bad. And there was a lot of physical abuse, everything going on there. And after like, I don't remember at what point, because a lot of it's like very hazy, because that's how sometimes childhood trauma, especially when you're younger, the memories are. But there was a little girl that was there, and I didn't know where she came. I thought she was like a neighbor that my aunt and uncle just didn't bother to pick on as well while they're picking on me, and I was wrong. There was a lot that happened as she was there, and I was, I believe, the only one who could see her. And when I left, when I was going to leave, my parents had like won in the court to like get me back from my aunt and uncle and everything, because a lot happened with like legal stuff. I went to leave, and I heard like a thud, and like I turned around, the door just like slammed shut, and the girl was like staring at me through the door like sad. And I remember turning around and being like, well, come on, come with me, I guess, like come on. And she just went from sad to like angry. And at that, like growing up now, I'm like, that was not a human. That was a demonic spirit. Because there were multiple times when I would wake up and I just felt something off around me, and she was standing there. And let me just put it this way. If you feel something off spiritually, nothing of the Lord will make you have that feeling. Nothing of the Lord that is holy and good will make you have that feeling. And so that's how I know it's a demonic spirit. There are other experiences I had when I was in, I think, middle school, I want to say, maybe high school. I'm not sure. Around there. I think it was definitely middle school though, because my dad was in my life at the time. So I got home from school one day. I was extremely exhausted because social anxiety and all that good stuff. I lay down in bed to take a nap, and I woke up from a terrible night terror where something dark was chasing me around the house that my aunt and uncle had lived with me in when I lived with them. And I woke up and I was literally floating off my bed. I was literally levitated off my bed. And I looked over and there was the dark figure right next to me.
Was it sleep
And
paralysis?
no, I could move and everything. I
Wow.
was fully awake.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of experience with demonic stuff, and I've never been possessed, and I don't think I've ever witnessed anybody else be possessed. To my memory right now, as much as I can remember. But I've experienced a lot of stuff, and ever since I got right with the Lord, because that happened when I was younger and I did not know better. Like I didn't know about the Lord like I do now. That's what happened when I was younger. But now that like I'm much better with the Lord, like I had not experienced anything like that. I think honestly the devil's afraid of me to like mess with me like that now, because I've become because we can do candid stuff here and talk about this stuff. When somebody asks me to pray for them, they don't understand the kind of prayer I do. I'm literally talking to God, having a conversation with God. And I'm like, in the name of Jesus, if there's like a demonic thing happening to causing her this, I cast you out now in the name. I go to war. Like I don't joke about that stuff. I go to war with the devil and with like God by my side, obviously, and going before me, behind me, surrounding me, protecting me. So I go to war, and I am proud of it. So the devil doesn't mess with me like that anymore.
Wow.
At all.
Well, it's good you've overcome that in your life. You know, that's a powerful thing.
Yeah,
And,
it definitely is.
I think it's great that you're using your TikTok platform to kind of spread the word, even though the evil forces are trying to silence your voice.
Yeah.
But what can we expect from a platform that is built by, I call it the spy app.
Yeah. And you know what? Like I've told you, I don't mind. It doesn't make me happy, obviously, but I don't mind that I'm shadowbanned. I don't mind people are attacking me. I don't mind that because I know that even though I'm getting like maybe 57 views, maybe a little bit more than that, a little bit less than that, depending on the day or the video. The last one I did was literally to a worship song. So I'm trying to see, because it was like a video of me getting unready, like taking my makeup off, changing and everything. I'm trying to see if TikTok like will quiet that one, because it's literally a worship song playing in the background. I don't know if it'll play right now, but I don't know how this stuff works.
Oh, there you go. You don't normally see girls getting unready. You usually see girls getting ready only.
Yeah, no, I try to bring a little like silly to it as well, and like my terrible dancing as well, make people laugh, make people smile.
Oh my God, look at this. This is so cute. How do I like it? There you go. Give you a 4.
Thank you. But yeah, no, like I was saying, like I don't care how many views I get. I'm trusting the Lord will bring the right people who need to see it to that video. I'm trusting He'll bring that video across their page, no matter what TikTok tries to do to the videos.
And that's Shadow?
Yep, that's Shadow. She's actually right next to me right now.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I got Raindrop and Cloud here.
Oh.
On the wall. So what's going on over here? Are you on a skateboard or something?
Nope, I'm just playing with Shadow outside. Today was her birthday, so.
Oh, happy birthday, Shadow. Happy birthday, Shadow. Hold on. Let me see if I can do something. Let me try some new effects here. I saw these new abilities. Let's see.
Oh, sweet baby.
Oh, shit. No, hold on. I lost you guys for a second. We got dance pop music. Come on. What the hell is this? Hold on. My camera's all fucked up. Excuse me. Excuse my cursing.
Mad at you.
Excuse my cursing. We're back. All right.
You'll see
all right.
Happy birthday she just runs past my phone. It was perfect timing.
Happy birthday to Shadow. It's your birthday, girl. How old is Shadow?
She is now 7 years old. Human years.
There you go, Shadow. You are a good girl.
Yeah.
You are a good
Such
girl.
a good girl. Giving her belly rubs right now. She's loving it.
I wish I had more effects here. Like I wanted to make my screen flash and shit. Like I wanted to make like a party, but I don't have that filter on my thing. Oh well. Maybe another time.
So yeah. But yeah, like on my page you'll see like I advocate for Christians, mental health, like survivors of all kinds of abuse. Like I advocate for a lot of people, and I truly do believe like the Lord that allowed me to go through those things so I could reach out to those people and so I could relate to those people and hopefully give people like that hope and encourage them to keep going, because I have plenty of rough days. Like, I've had to reschedule you a couple times because I was just not doing well. So
Oh, it's
yeah.
all good. We're very casual here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Your mental health is the most important.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just going through your page right now.
Yeah.
And just seeing what's going on. I am not pregnant. This is just an appreciation post for my man.
Talking about, like, because the song, I don't know if you can hear the song, but the
I
song
could,
is
but I'll get a copyright if I put it on.
okay, because the song is something of, I don't remember the song. Like,
Oh, here we go. Oh, this is not Christ-like.
You know what? I'm dancing. I'm having fun. Okay.
This is not Oh, what just happened? I gave it like, that was not Christ-like. I just did not expect that to happen, guys. See, I told you, Chica, Guapa.
Oh,
Husband
hush.
is a lucky, lucky man. All right, let's see what else we got on this page. Celine Dion. I love Celine Dion. She's my favorite.
Yeah, I got emotional on one of the videos I recorded for the songs, because I had one CD when I was with my aunt and uncle, and one of the songs was one of my like survival songs when I needed motivation to keep going because the abuse was horrendous.
What's this transformation? What do we got going on here?
You'll see.
Well, let's see what's going on. This is fun, just sitting here. Ooh la la. Blue, black.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna be trying to go more blue as soon as possible, like blue undertone, but like
I've done
more
blue hair
noticeable.
before. I've done straight up blue hair before.
I don't doubt that.
I'm actually growing my hair out right now. As I probably color my hair.
Yeah,
You know?
Daniel has grown his hair out like long, like Tarzan long kind of thing, and he chopped it right before I moved to Texas. Well, right before he and I started talking. And I'm like, wait, I wanted to see how you look with like grown out hair. Like, I wanted to see how it looks on you. And he's like, okay. So now he's going through all the motions of growing it all the way back out again. And he looks really good with the fro so far. So I'm like, oh.
That's awesome. So we'll see how it looks. So we've hit an hour 33. It went by so fast. Oh my God.
My
So easy to talk
goodness.
to you. We could have kept going for another hour and a half. Do you want to share any closing thoughts with my audience? And this will stay on YouTube forever.
I'm going to say this from a Christian point of view, because I know probably some of you have bad experiences with Christians. So I'm going to say this the way the Lord would want you to hear this. You are loved, you are cherished, you are important, and even the liberal, I forgot the word for it, but even you, like, I don't mean to say even you, but you know what I mean. I'm so happy all of y'all are here. Whether it's like even on earth or whatever it is, you are loved, you are welcome here, and I am so thankful that we got to spend this much time together. Whether you came here from the beginning or not, I don't care. I love y'all so much, and God bless. And let freedom ring, baby. Let it ring.
That's right. Awesome. Well, once again, guys, if you want to go follow RIAH, you guys could just go to TikTok and you can search her username. I'm going to pull it up one more time for the people. Hold on. Did I get thrown? I got thrown out of TikTok on this page. Whatever. You guys see it in the bottom. It's scrolling across the bottom. RIAH_Noelle 9114. Definitely give her an ad, give her a follow. You'll see some positive stuff and like her stuff. Comment on it to help her break the shadow ban, because she's been shadow banned to all hell. She's got one of the worst bans I've seen. At this point, they should be just throwing her off.
It's so bad. I'm like, if you're going to hide me this much, just do something to my account so I can know what's going on.
End it. Just digitally assassinate you. What is it, like slow burn? Oh, so annoying.
It's worse.
But again, RIAH, thank you so much for joining. And this is going to be live on my channel after this in perpetuity. So, you can share this link or whatever. And for everyone else who's watching, thanks for spending some time with us on this lovely Friday evening. I'm going to go shower and take care of some stuff. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. It's great being here. Bye.
See you later.